You are watching the New American Media. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Brian. This is the Unhappy Hour. Special edition. Special edition indeed. NBA Draft. What's going on? Who's going where? Number 1 pick, Anthony Davis, going to the Hornets. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist to the Bobcats. Bradley Beal to the Wizards, and more. We're definitely going to talk Cavs, because that's who we're watching. And we'll be right. I don't know. We're gonna be cautiously optimistic. You never know how a draft's gonna turn out until the players actually get out there. But now it's a fun time as a Cavs fan right now. This is our playoffs. We were kind of left holding the bag a couple years ago, and now we're in full rebuilding mode. But we have Kyrie Irving, a nice piece, Tristan Thompson. Now we're adding a player. So what we're gonna do is we're going to bring somebody into the mix here. Speaking of mix here, good stuff. Listening to the jam. We're going to bring in NBA scout Zach Baris. Zach always gives his unique perspective on things. And we're happy that he's going to join us again today. Go ahead and reach out to him right now. There's no need to wait. Just get into it. Special edition.
Hello?
Hello, Zach. It's Brian with the New American Media. You are live on the Unhappy Hour. How are you doing today, Zach?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm fine, but, out of all of the research I've been doing, I can't really tell you too much about Dion Waiters. So we'll get to him with the Cavs pick and who may have been traded and what still might be in the works. But, Zach, would you provide your, introduce yourself to our listeners? I know a lot of people over the past few weeks and months have gotten to know you because all of the NBA segments that we post up there, we're getting a lot of hits on YouTube. And by the way, if you're on YouTube now, please click subscribe so then you get our updates as we regularly talk sports. But please introduce yourself to the crowd. We know that you're locked into the NBA, and explain how.
You can find me on Twitter at zbaris, Z-B-A-R-I-S to start off. I currently work as an NBA scout. I was formerly with an agency. I will be with a team in the near future, but I cannot say who yet until it's official. So currently, I'm here just watching the draft, and so that's about it.
And I will not mention either. I'm very happy as you proceed in your career because, in the brief time we've been talking, I don't know, how long has it been, Zach? 6 months, a year? How long have we been in communication?
It's been a while. It's probably over 6 months. It had to be, it's been since football season at least, so it has to be at least since maybe September of last year or October.
Well, every time we pick your brain, you seem to be locked in with everything that's going on. So let me ask an obscure question, and then we'll get to the basics. We're doing a special edition of the Unhappy Hour today to go up because everybody's talking draft tonight. We didn't want to wait. We will elaborate on all of this on tomorrow's show. You and I will get into in-depth. We just want to kind of give a nice once-over and kind of talk about what it means to each team. Tell me this. Who is Jared Cunningham, shooting guard, that the Cavs just selected?
He's from Oregon State. He will not be a Cleveland Cavalier. That will be traded to Dallas for Tyler Zeller. So don't even concern yourself with Jared Cunningham. He's a good shooter. He's a good player, but he will be traded for Tyler Zeller to the Cavs. It was the number 17th overall pick. I think the Zeller pick was a good pick by the Cavs. They needed length in the front court. They got it. Especially with Baris not having much versatility. And, you can't rely on Seni or Den, to play center. He was awful last year. A couple friends and I, we were at the Lakers-Cavs game last year. We nicknamed him the Slug. He's almost like a slug when you watch him go down the court. Literally that's what he does. And he moves so slow. It's just funny watching him play. Sometimes you wonder how a guy, that unathletic and that untalented could even be in the NBA. I don't mean to just rip on Senator
No,
Den,
I mean you're just evaluating you're just evaluating talent. I would say slug might only be a good name for a boxer or a gang member, but not for us an athlete. I don't think that's a pretty bad
when you watch him move down the floor live in person, it's almost it's like comical to watch him
slow motion
move down the floor. I can't even stop myself from laughing. It's so funny every time I've watched him in person. I watched almost every single Cavs game on TV last year, but and I went to a few, a few road games too, and a few other games. And it's just so funny watching him in person because he just is so slow. And the ability when the Cavaliers drafted Tyler Zeller and Deion Waiters tonight in Syracuse, this allows them to be able to run the floor. They're going to try to explode the offense now. This is going to be a running team in Byron Stetson, and they've totally changed their approach. I don't know if Deion Waiters is going to come off the bench or he's going to start because the guy's never started a game in his life, since high school. So it's hard to tell exactly what the Cavaliers are going to be doing with him. And it'll also be interesting to see, do they go and trade Anderson Varejao for a wing player, or do they sit there and wait till midseason to see where they are? Are they sitting in the 8th playoff spot, and they want to kind of move back into the lottery? Do they go and trade Varejao for some picks? A lot will depend on that, but I can see the Cavaliers now they're a running team now. The offense is going to be quick. They're going to be running the floor. They're going to have to because Deion Waiters is not a great shooter, but he's great at getting the ball over to the rim. He's great at getting the ball to the hoop. Some scouts, I've never heard, some people have been talking this week, they can see him as a Dwayne Wade type. He's not a Dwayne Wade type at all. Dwayne Wade is a player in his own. He's a superstar. Deion Waiters will not be an absolute superstar. He could be a decent number 2 option for the Cavaliers. I'm still surprised they took him over Thomas Robinson and Harrison Barnes, though. I thought that Thomas Robinson could be a really good fit with the Cavs because it allows Tristan Thompson to play, anywhere from 15, 18 minutes at power forward and then, anywhere, from 15 to 18 over at center, too. And I think Thomas Robinson is the most ready NBA player besides Anthony Davis. It wouldn't surprise me if Thomas Robinson were to put up, more than 15 points a game this season and more than 8 to 9, and somewhere around 8 to 10 rebounds. I really thought at that point, once Kidd-Gilchrist was off the board at 2, I think that pick surprised me with the Bobcats anyways. But I just, I thought all week hearing the Deion Waiters rumors, I literally thought it was just a smokescreen. This is a guy who I remember watching him against Ohio State. I believe it was the Elite Eight. Yeah, I don't even remember him playing in that game. I watched that game on TV. I was sitting there at the NCAA tournament with my computer right there and watching the game on TV. And I remember I just didn't even hear Deion Waiters' name called. That doesn't mean he won't be a good player, but just remember Chris Grant, last time he took a 6-man, he took Marvin Williams over Chris Paul.
Well,
so,
if the kid isn't playing very much, I mean, what is that, a tremendous upside? I mean, I guess I was expecting, obviously, Harrison Barnes or Thomas Robinson, one of those names. And when this came in, it was just, I was wondering if there was a trade is in. Need to disable that somehow, but hey, it's nice to have. But I mean, I guess what they're just picking a really good upside player, or I mean, why do they take him?
The thing is with Barnes is what Barnes is going to give you, and Barnes is never. I don't think Harrison Barnes has a superstar potential. I think he could be a very good number 2 or number 3 I think he could be a very good number 3 option on a championship caliber team. I don't think he's a number 2. I think he's more of a number 3. When you look at a team like the Miami Heat winning championships and Oklahoma City going out, it's not based on a complete team anymore. It's based on a lot is what are your top 3 guys you can do. Ever since Boston won a few years ago, everybody is looking at the top 3 guys on a roster right now. When they had KG, Pierce, and Allen, and then Rondo was even the 4th option basically back then. And that's what started the trend. And now, Miami's doing it now. And so you really look at it, you go, can Harrison Barnes be the number 2 option on a great team? I don't know. It's hard to tell. Watching him play without Kendall Marshall, though, was definitely alarming in the NCAA tournament, to say the least. He was terrible without Kendall Marshall, and that was against inferior competition as of Ohio University. And Deion Waiters, though, I think the Cavaliers may have based that pick strictly on analytics right there. Chris Grant is very big into the, in the computer projections and analytics. He's really, really high on that, and that's why they selected Tristan Thompson last year. Over some other big names.
Where are you at with analytics? How high do you rank analytics as far as because I know you said you're big on game time.
I mean, It's a kind of a newer practice in basketball, to say the least. Baseball has been going on for a long time, and it's helped a lot of, that's how the Moneyball philosophy,
right,
came about in baseball. They were basing these guys off of computer projections, and, there's some hits and there's some misses. Obviously, they were basing that on instead of old-fashioned scouting a lot of the time.
Right. Well,
and it just depends. I don't know personally how to say it because I haven't worked with the analytics in basketball yet. I really haven't. I just scout myself, and write my reports, and I determine everything from there. Like I said, I've talked to you before about this. I'm not a big guy on workouts. I'm more on in-game production. I've always liked that more than just measuring a guy's wingspan because it doesn't mean he's going to produce at the next level.
Yeah,
so
it's
always hard to get a complete read.
You've mentioned before that you like seeing them in the game footage. You want to see when they're in battle, what can they do? When they're in direct competition, what are they rising to? You could be a freak athlete, but do you have it? What is it? They kept calling, where's LeBron's clutch gene? Where's the it? And you finally saw it 2 years after leaving Cleveland, when he got his first championship now a couple days ago. But, the it factor, they kept saying Michael Kidd-Gilchrist has a great motor, and it's one of those drive, the passion, the heart factor. And I don't know that you can measure that in analytics.
And also, when I also talk about this is, I was not high on Andre Drummond with the Cavaliers as the fourth overall pick. I think that would have been an even worse pick than Deion Waiters, to tell you the truth.
Now he's down in Detroit, up in Detroit.
But at number 9, the Cavaliers have been selecting at 9. I think Andre Drummond's a fantastic pick for the Pistons. I think they got great value there because at number 9, rarely do you have the chance to draft a superstar at 9. And I'm not saying Andre Drummond will be. He's more on the lines of, I don't even know if it's Kwame Brown. I would go more on the lines of, I think if he doesn't pan out, I think he'll be anywhere between a Kwame Brown and DeAndre Jordan. But he does have that Amari Dwight Howard in him, a little bit. I don't know if I'll see it, but he's a perfect fit in Detroit because Greg Monroe is an excellent power forward over there. They have someone who's already developed who put up, Greg Monroe put up huge numbers last year, and it could allow Andre Drummond to thrive in Detroit. And I think that was a great move for Detroit. But I would not have been happy to see the Cavs draft him at number 4.
Right.
It would have been a terrible
the value you have to consider. We're talking with NBA scout Zach Baris. Zach, I want to kind of break this into 3 parts. That was kind of a general overview. All right, if you haven't done this already, we need you to do this. Go on to youtube.com/The New American Media and subscribe to our page. That way you get an update every time we post a new radio show, every time we get another interview. Every time we're doing something interesting, you're reminded that, hey, I like those people at the New American Media. So go on youtube.com/The New American Media and hit subscribe.